Hi guys, Jay Smith here, welcome to AskGolfNut channel and welcome to another video which hardly anyone will watch because it's the COBRA DS Adapt X driver, and I really don't get why. Comment below, put your opinion in as to why COBRA do not get the coverage which they deserve on the basis of just how good their equipment is. Their irons are amazing, even throughout the whole entire set. I've done all the reviews of those ones and they really do perform well. I've literally just done their Max K, their 10K option, the most stable of all of the four. Yes, four, and I'll be doing all the separate reviews for them. But I've got the X here. This is the one which used to be in the dark speed line, the one that's going to be for the masses, shall we say. The good thing with the X that the Max K hasn't got is that you've got the weighting system underneath. The basic technology within inside the heads are really not that much different. Within the X, there's a slight difference in technology between the 9 degree and the 10.5 degree, where you have got a power bridge in the 9 but no power bridge in the 10.5. They're just trying to move spin profiles, as generally speaking, the lower loft you go, the faster you are, etc. So you may need the help in that, but they're not so much when you go up in loft. And of course, we have that Future Fit 33 shaft adapter, which is revolutionary. It absolutely is. It pushes the boundaries of what's possible when it comes to customizing your driver beyond belief. The great thing with this Future Fit 33 is if you get fit properly, as you do your swing changes, as you grow, as you mature in your swing and you need changes from the adapter, commonly with other manufacturers' adapters, you can run out of room. When it comes to this, you have got quite a bit of wiggle room. So it is mighty, mighty impressive. Looks wise, we have a carbon everywhere. Carbon crown does look really very, very nice. The only difference between this and the dark speed really is you've got a little bit of a line engraving around the outer edge. That's basically it, but it just looks really quite nice from every single angle. So I'm at a hole. Obviously this time of year that I'm going to be doing these videos, depending on what time of year you're actually watching this, but this time of year is a certain major. And of course, comment below with what hole you think I am on. I've got this in the 9 degree setting, but I will be doing all the tests at 10.5 for the 3 different swing speed. More on that in a sec. And I've just done the Max K and more of the low heel shots to come. And here is another one. I'm warming up and that's terrible. There you go, as you can see, club speed 107.4, need to warm up a little bit. You can see club path and face to path is not bad whatsoever, 0-0. And then look at the strike, 9mm low and 13 lovelies heel. That was not good at all, and that's gone a grand total of 255 yards. So that's what happens when you don't hit the middle. However, it is 8.4 yards offline, and as you can see on this hole that we hit, that is in the fairway, and I would take it considering that hit was poor. Now you could absolutely feel it, the difference between the 10K, the Max K, and this one is less stable. The Max K is definitely, you hit it off of similar strikes and the face just feels much more stable. This one doesn't feel as stable, you feel it a lot more. That was not good, but it's still done right for hitting target. Let's see if we can do a little bit of a better job. Oh, we're still doing with the bad swings, slightly low on the face, but I mean, that's just fairway. I need to hit it slightly higher up on the face, I think. Oh, here we go. Here we go with the fairway. Off it goes. Bye ball. That might actually be in the ditch. Oh my word, that's harsh. Stop ball. Oh my word. There you go, that's the golf course we're playing on. We've got club head speed 108 miles an hour. We've got club path face to path very 0-0. 4mm heel, 8mm low. So again, low on the face, not very good at all. 266 yards of carry, spin profiles at 2.627. So slightly higher than I would like. Obviously that is because I'm hitting it lower in the face, and of course launch is down at 13 degrees because of the low strike. Feeling is, you can definitely feel on the X that is a little bit more sensitive than the Max K, absolutely. Where the X was the go-to for the dark speed side of things, now I can really see people going down the Max K route, because that Max K is just really very, very good. It's kind of got to a point now where I'm not entirely certain, apart from the fact obviously you've got the weighting system which you can move forward and back. So at the moment that's spinning a fraction too high. I am hitting it slightly low on the face to gain a little bit more spin when I don't want it, but even if I hit it where I'd like it to, it's still spinning a fraction too much. And of course you can move that with the weights at the bottom, which you can't do on the Max K because it's a fixed weight and because it's the 10K option. With this one you have that versatility if you want. Give it another go and see how it does. Well, that's 3 for 3 on the I'm not hitting great strikes, but I mean that's absolutely fine, like properly fine. Healy, not great, but oh, don't go in the drink again, come on, that was pretty okay. Stop. 109 miles an hour clubhead speed. We've got club par, face to par, very 0-0. We've got 1 degree open. That basically is it. 6 millimeters heel, 0 mil low. So the strike was actually much better than I thought it was. Although the feeling you get from this, it feels much worse than it actually is. It's an interesting head, this X. We're launching at 14.5 degrees and spinning at 2.3, so that's much better. And 275 yards carry, which is good, 295 yards in total, and only 7.8 yards off of line. So you can't complain at all when it's performance. At the moment, the only thing really I can complain with is just how sensitive the feeling is. Now, having feedback is not a bad thing at all. I would love feedback, absolutely, but that's 6 millimeters off the middle. That is it. And it still doesn't quite feel solid, which is good because it's telling me I need to make a better job, but only 6 millimeters better job, but it's performing brilliantly. And I'm hitting fairway. I don't feel in any way that I'm struggling to control this driver. It just feels good. Really easy to hit, even though I'm not doing the greatest of jobs necessarily, but here we go, another one. Let's get one down the middle, see if I can hit somewhere where it feels nice on the face. I mean, it's open face, slightly toey, but hopefully it's not fairway. That's going to bound and it's going to stop on there. That's not fairway. So clubhead speed is 108.7 miles an hour. We've got a club path 0.7 across and a face 2.0 degrees open. So that's me telling the golf ball to go off to the right. 10 mil toe, 3 mil low, so slightly toey on the strike, not middle as you will agree. But it's going 273 yards of carrying, 292 yards of distance and only 13 yards offline. However, obviously this hole bends round to the left. I don't like it as much as the Max K because the feeling is not quite as nice. When I say nice, you definitely do get a bit more feedback from this. You don't have to hit far from the middle to really start knowing that you need to do a better job. That I could tell straight away. Was slightly toey, one more go, because I do like hitting these. They are actually quite nice to hit. I still want to go back to that Max K though. Unlike me to want to go back to a 10K option, no different to the whole AI this and 10K that. Does get a bit much after a while. One last one. Low on the face again, slightly low, just bullet straight. I really shouldn't complain. Slightly slower clubhead speed, trying to keep it on the, well, planet. Oh, here we go with the fairway again. Don't go in the drink. That was actually pretty good. Stop, please, for the love of all that's golf gods, no, drink. Clubhead speed 107 miles an hour, club path and face to path not bad, 0-0, 0.3, 0.9, but there's the strike low on the face, 8 mil low, 0 mil toe, so just slightly low on the face, which means we're going 268 yards in the air of carry and 288 yards in total, which actually meant it was 2.3 yards offline and not in the drink, although when you're playing golf, and even if you hit target with this fairway, easily could go in the drink. We are launching 12 degrees because we are hitting slightly low on the face, and that's what happens when you hit low on the face with roll and bulge. But then that means we are spinning now at 2.5, so 270 yards of carry from that strike is not bad whatsoever. Right, let's go hit this a boatload of times all over the face. Let's go get a really good heat map understanding of how good this X driver is. We'll see how it works from a point of view efficiency and also from distance factor when you don't hit the middle. How likely is it to hit the distance that it does numbers out of the middle, and we'll also test this at 80, 95 and 110 miles an hour to see how well it works in different golfers' hands. I will stick the loft up to 10.5 degrees to see how well it works, because obviously 9 degrees at 80 miles an hour, that thing is just falling out of the sky. Let's go test it and go see how good this new X driver is. All the shots now hit with the X driver, captured the 3 different swing speeds, 80, 95, 110 miles an hour, so you don't swing at torque speeds. And I've also captured the heat map data, what happens when you don't hit the middle. How much ball speed do you get dropped off from weird and wonderful spots, and also how much distance is dropped off when you hit those weird and wonderful parts. On the screen you can see we've got the ball data on top and the club head data underneath. We'll look at the club head data in a little bit, but you've got the red, which is 80 miles an hour, the yellow, which is 95 miles an hour, and the blue, which is 110 miles an hour. If we go to the red first, we've got a carry of 186 yards, peaking up at 19 yards in the air. Descent angle is at 28.6 degrees. Which is extremely shallow, and spin is at 1642. Now this X driver does have the capacity to move the weights in the sole from the back position to the front position, the heavier and lighter weight, swap them around. Now this is in the position of the weight at the back, and so this is not its lowest spin setting. This X with that adjustable weight, different to the Max K that does not have any adjustable weights at the bottom, just has the Future Fit 33 adapter. This X, you can move the spin profile around, and this has the potential to be as low spinning as the LS model if you were to put the weight at the front. So 1642 isn't really enough to keep the golf ball in the air, and I would seriously be worried about any golfer that's playing a spin rate this low. So for this 80 miles an hour, yes, I'd absolutely have to go to a higher lofted head, the 10.5 degree, for example, and then whack it up to 12.5 degrees. Try and get as much launch and as much spin on the golf ball as possible to make sure we do not get into a situation where you get a breath of wind, downwind, and the ball runs out of lift and just falls out the sky, and people chasing the odd 10 or 20 yards of distance will lose 40 when that golf ball starts falling out of the sky. If you go to the yellow, which is the 95 miles an hour, you've got carry now of nearly 240 yards, peaking up at 29 yards in the air. Descent angles 36 degrees basically, and spin profiles just over 2000 RPM. So at this speed, 2000 RPM is functional, no problem whatsoever. It is still slightly low. You are going to get your maximum numbers if you can get a high launch, lowish spin at 2000 on the 95 mile an hour swing speed, but you don't have much wiggle room if you catch one slightly high in the face and you get a little bit of vertical gearing, and so again you could be running out of distance because the ball falls out of the sky. So it's doing exceptionally well, and if you were a fairly consistent ball striker launching like this, it's working extremely well. Just be wary of the lack of wiggle room when it comes to the amount of spin that you have on the golf ball. If you go to the 110, the blue, the full on speed, carries now at 278 yards, peaking up at 41 yards in the air, descent angle of 42.2, so it's slightly over on the descent angles, coming a little bit too steep to not necessarily maximize bounce and roll, but it is spinning now at 2463. Remember, this is with the weight at the back. You can flick it round if you wish, and if you did, you would then reduce the spin a little bit and then increase carry. So it all depends massively so on how you deliver the golf club and how fast you swing, and depending on what kind of spin profile you require. But the X does have that capacity, that versatility in those weights, and you can, I think, get different weights as well if you want to change your swing weight, and also the amount of difference that those weights will make to your spin profile. If you go to the club head speed, we've got the 80.4, 95.8, 109.9. So within a very small amount, there is your 15 mile an hour gaps. Efficiency is 1.47, 1.46, 1.45. Efficiency effectively is a measure of bang for your buck. How much ball speed do you get from your club head speed? Attack angles within a degree or so. Club path, no difference, within 0.6 of a degree. Face, 0.8 of a degree. Very, very small numbers. Loft, what's that, half a degree? Very, very small numbers, considering there is a 30 odd mile an hour difference in swing speed. And of course you have got the strike on there with all the standard deviation numbers for you to see. If you're someone who prefers the graphical representation rather than streams of tabular data, you can pause the video now and look at the information from a graphical point of view. So some people don't really learn that well from just seeing streams and streams of information. So there you go, that's it for you to digest. So to the all-important forgiveness time where I hit it all over the face to see as a heat map how well this face works. Of course, we've got technology, as all drivers have got technology in it, to try and maximize ball speed across the face. And then we'll also have a look at the distance factor heat map, as how well the golf club does at keeping distance up when you don't hit the middle, not just raw ball speed. On the screen you can see, if I can get it all on there, we've got the heat map grid and we've also got the overlay as well. But if you haven't seen the heat map grid, we are basically looking at the golf clubs like it was face on. So at the top you've got from 30 on the left hand side to minus 30 on the right hand side. That's 30 millimeters left, 30 millimeters right, so 30 millimeters on the left hand side is the toe and on the right hand side is the heel. And of course you have got high and low as well on there, and 25 millimeters high and 25 millimeters low basically is the entire height of the golf club, and of course I think around about 100 or so millimeters wide in total, so 50 or so millimeters left to right, but because the curvature of the face, yeah, you're not going to be hitting, or hopefully not going to be hitting too far in the extremes of the golf club, but you've got a very big area there for you to see how the heat map works. And of course you can go on the overlay, but you can go all the way to, let's say, 30 millimeters toe on the far left hand side and 0 high, and effectively only lose 4% of your ball speed, and that's pretty darn decent considering 30 millimeters is a long way away from middle. And then no different if you go over 30 or so millimeters to the right hand side, it's the heel, you're losing 6 or so percent. And again, better if you're going to do that on a driver than it is an iron, because you haven't got a hosel there necessarily getting in the way, but still it's fairly forgiving from its ball speed retention, shall we say. But ball speed retention is not necessarily the one thing that you want to look at. The most important thing when it comes to driving is its distance potential and its distance factor of where you hit it on the face, and how well does it do at keeping that distance from when you hit out the middle, when you don't hit out the middle, and see how consistent it is. So for that, we use the distance factor. I'll flick over there and instantly you can see a complete difference between that and the efficiency. The efficiency heat map is common to see a massive green blob. Manufacturers are really good nowadays at trying to keep ball speed up across the face. However, it is spin profiles and launch profiles which make the biggest difference when it comes to the distance factor. And so you can see here the amount of green on there, which is a fairly focused green blob in the middle and slightly radiating towards the toe and slightly high as well. But you have got that big red area on the heel. Red is basically 10% or more distance lost, and of course it always goes down to low on the face as well. Even though low on the face was green on the efficiency heat map, again because a face has got a curved face like a driver, fairy wood, hybrid, anything with a curved face has got roll and bulge. It's got less loft at the bottom than there is, say, in the middle at the top, and so you get an artificial amount of efficiency when you hit it low on the face because it's got less loft, less deflection. But you increase a boatload of spin because, again, it's not in line with the center of gravity, and of course you do get what they call gear effect, and that does have an impact on how far the golf ball goes. And so you can see the best part of the face on here to try and hit your maximum distance is fractionally high toe. Does very well out the middle, as you can see as well, but it starts to radiate into the red, especially quite quickly when you go heel side. Again, extremely common with drivers. Not many drivers I've ever tested go anywhere close to being green anywhere near the heel. It is always around sort of like the toe as well. But look at this green blob, and what is going to be interesting with this X driver, different to that of the Max K. Now the Max K has got a slightly bigger green blob than this one, yes it has, so it is slightly better at keeping the distance up across the face. However, with the X, with that movable weight, what you'll find is if you do move that heavier weight at the front to try and lower the spin profile, what you're going to do is see that green blob move slightly lower down the face. So if you're a golfer that doesn't hit really high on the face, they hit sort of slightly toe or slightly low, you can get that weight, move it to the front, lower the spin profile, and that will have the effect of moving that green blob down, making it more efficient and more effective for you. Very quickly, if you want to have a look at how this and the Max K perform relative to each other, you can see I'll put both of the heat maps in there for the efficiency. Again, manufacturers are incredibly good at trying to keep ball speed up across the face. It's just they're dealing with physics when it comes to the distance factor side of things, and this is where you'll see how good a driver is or potentially isn't for you, depending on your miss pattern. But you can see the efficiency map on the Max K is bigger than that of the X. No surprise there. Obviously the Max K is supposedly be the most effective and most efficient 10K option of their range, and so it has the biggest green blob in efficiency, and also is slightly bigger on distance factor as well. Now of course the different designs of the Max K against the X is going to cause that, and of course you do have on the X the ability to move that weight, which will move that green blob, of which you haven't got on the Max K. So the Max K is very good, but it is quite rigid in what it is. With the X you have got that versatility to at least move that green blob if you hit it slightly lower on the face. Hope you liked the video. If you did, go and give it a big old thumbs up, hit that like button. YouTube likes, so do I. Down there also is a subscribe button. It is free. It is the best button of the lot because it helps the channel out greatly if you could subscribe, so thank you. Next that one is a bell icon. That's a notification bell. If you click that one, that'll let you know next time I upload another video. Hope you're well. See you again soon.